post the topic. Okay, Hey Jide, how are you? So good to see you here already. Hi Mystery SV, so good to see you here. I'm trying to post the topic. Just give me a second, guys. Happy Sunday, everyone. I believe that you can hear me though. Mic check, 1, 2. You just let me know that you can hear me while I pin this topic. I think I'm good now. Awesome. Let me see that. Great. Pinned. All right. Hi. Good evening, good morning, good afternoon, wherever you're watching from all around the world. Welcome to another amazing episode of Ife Talks. Please let me know that you can hear me. Thank you so much. Let me just increase that volume a second, just to be double sure. Thank you for the feedback today. Happy Sunday, guys. How are you doing? So I'm just going to wait a little bit for more people to join us, and of course you can help to tell your clique that we are live, that we are here. And today we're going to be talking about something so good, and I am excited about today's topic. Genuinely excited about today's topic. And in fact, okay, let me not say some of the other things I'll say. Let me just wait so that I won't have to say it twice. But I'm glad that you're here. I'm glad we're doing this again. I am double glad that Ife Talks is 3 in this month of April. And coincidentally, the first person that joined my live today is, or was, with his beautiful wife. They were my first guests in the first ever Ife Talks show that happened this exact month, April, 3 years ago. But we'll just about that soon, right? But I'm excited to be here. Thank you for joining in. Just waiting for 1, 2, 3 more persons to join us. And our guest said that she's just going to be 5 minutes. Right, so once she comes in, we're jumping in. But before then, there's gist. But just hold up a little bit. Hold up a little bit. Oh my days! Wow! Thank you, Lord. I am excited. You know, when I even did that post yesterday, the number of, people that reached out to me on WhatsApp, on IG to encourage me, to say, oh wow, if you're well done, it's 3 years already, are you serious? Some people were even shocked, are you sure it's already 3 years? I'm like, even me, God, it shocked me, right? I know, it's 3 years, and God has really helped us, because I don't even know how. Even when I think about that, for 3 years we've been churning out content, having people come to talk to us. We've been having sessions that would transform lives, that would help people to make better informed decisions. And I'm like, wow, only God can do that, because even me, I don't even know how. I don't even know how. But for 3 years, every month, we've had somebody come to speak to us about different things, different areas. Hi, husband, welcome. Right? We've had people come to speak to us, to talk to us about different life issues. Even my husband has done live with me before, and that was such a very amazing session. Trust me. I think we talked about his journey, purpose, and how he went through some sort of failure, and then he became who God helped him to be. Who God has helped him to become. Who he is today, right? So that was a very interesting session. Maya, it's so good to see you. Welcome. I'm excited that you guys are here. I was just talking about our journey, our 3-year journey, and how people were like, are you serious? You're 3 already? I'm like, yeah, Ife Talks is 3 already. Like, how is Ife Talks 3 already, right? I know, but I think I should even do a special shout out first to God. The giver of the gifts, the giver of the inspiration, Christopher Beauty. Welcome. God has been so good. God has helped me, because Even me, I don't know how. If you ask me that, I don't have any secret, any game plan, nothing, right? It's just God that has helped me on this journey, right? 1-2 times you might feel discouraged, like blah blah blah, but I mean, even me, I will be an ingrate that God hasn't helped me. Thank you so much, Hobbs, right? So I mean, God has really been good. God has really been good, and I want to really thank the people that God has put around me to encourage me, to support me. I was still saying that I mean, there should be like a thank you speech, but if I do that, I'll not mistakenly forget some names, there'll be problems. Yes, so Roger is coming. When I saw that yesterday, I was like, God, this man, can't I just tell you something inside the bedroom? But yes, it's coming. Amen. We are working on what I remember. So I think I should just say, start from my husband. Secondly, my husband. I mean, very huge support system, always pushing, encouraging, helping with the technical background. Your camera is not doing, this one is not okay. Praying with me. We pray every time. We encourage what's happening here. And he's a perfectionist, so everything was just perfect. Remove it. I say it's okay. No, you have to encourage. Even the first time I ever came up, apart from the couple friends that came, he was like, baby, can I'm like, no, I'm not doing this one, no. And then he's been there all the way, supporting, encouraging, helping. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I genuinely celebrate, appreciate you. Thank you. And I'm really grateful. I think there's some people that, hi, Okpe, welcome, that would always be on my life, that I'm not sure I can remember when they were not on the live. And one of such persons is Mayoko. Yes, I'm calling you out, but it's for a good thing. And I'm really grateful. It's very encouraging when I see people joining and all that. Thank you Mayoko. Thank you so much for always showing up. Thank you. I really do appreciate it, and I'm genuinely grateful. Michael's very amazing husband, Jide, my very good friend, always thinking, I know somebody that I want to connect you with. This person is going to be an important person in your life. Don't you want to invite this person? Don't worry, I'll talk to the person for you. I just want to say thank you, Jide. Thank you so much. Thank you for always trying to think things, plan things, always processing a lot of things in his head, right? Thank you. I am genuinely grateful. Thank you to everyone who always comes here, who always shows up. I don't even know what Ife Talks will be without people that believe in the vision, believe in the assignment, come here, encourage, your words of encouragement, the things that you people say. I'm just awed. I'm just grateful. I'm just really thankful. Thank you to everyone. Some people are always, once my flyer is up, like, they're not thinking it twice. Even though Monirat is not here, I'll still mention her name. Send me your flyer. Bakam, she has posted. Always posting every day. I'm like, thank you. Some people will always share, and these things are things that encourage, just help. Like, oh wow, somebody is inviting someone else to the show, somebody is talking about it, someone is announcing it. And who are we without people, right? I'm always saying that people are the driving force. God surrounds us. We can't do life alone. You need people. Imagine if I was an island and I don't have anybody around me to support me. I won't be here calling some names today. So I just want to really say, thank you everybody. I can't mention everybody's name, please forgive me in advance, but I just had to highlight some names that have consistently showed up, helped me, announced me, promoted what I do and all that. Thank you. I am genuinely grateful. Will I say that the 3 years have not been a struggle, or I've not had some times when I'm not even able to come up, I'm not just there, I'm not feeling it, but I will still have to show up, right? Show up. Next month's program now, we're already planning it, talking to the guests. 2 months time to already planning, because we just must continue. It's a lot of assignments. It's so good to see you. Welcome, right? There's so much to do. It's a running period, so I cannot stop. I cannot be tired, but I am grateful. Like, I wish I can thank you guys 1,000,001 times. I am genuinely grateful. Maybe one of these days I'll do like a video that I'll put on YouTube, on my YouTube page, and just express or explain the 3-month journey, because everybody just comes to see Ife on the live. This girl, she got it. Got nothing, please. Let's start from there. but God got it all. God has been helping. God has been faithful. God has been so. God has given me favor before people. I just reach out to some. I just chat them. They don't know me. I mean, I've been following them, but I just see something that encourages them. I'm like, oh, no problem. That's fine. I'll come on your live. I'm like, just like that. You just agreed. I mean, this very amazing, great lady. It's as if, I mean, but you just agreed. So I just want to thank God for that favor, because I have to just randomly always talk to people. I don't know them. I just them and say, oh, I'm effective. This is what I do. Blah blah blah. Do you mind coming? Even some people that have never responded to me. Don't worry. Very soon, now them will rush me. But I'm grateful to everybody who has come on this show. They didn't know me. It was not through any form of connection or anything. I just reached out to them and they just agreed, just like that. Thank you very much for everyone who supports, who announces, who tells people about. I say, I don't even know how to thank you. Someone just say, oh, I think you should meet with this person. I think you should talk to this person. Thank you. I'm so grateful. So grateful. I mean, so something very amazing. Yes, something very amazing happened. Amen. Thank you. Last year, and I mean, I might have just even paused on the whole event of thing that, oh, please, I'm done, I'm tired, blah blah blah. But the assignment is always bigger than our feelings, it's always bigger than our emotions. So if we have to wait every time till everything is okay, till I feel great, till my life is perfect, we'll never do anything, right? So we always have to get above our feelings to realize that there's an assignment before me. It's not really about how I feel right now. It's not really about what's going on with me. It's about the big picture. It's about the big goal. It's about the big thing that God has asked me to do, right? So you just must always go above yourself, right? So that's what pushes me, right? Not really my emotions, because it's based on when I'm not in the mood. Hey, Mo, you're welcome, good to see you. When I'm not in the mood and all that, we'll just not be here. But if I talk or any assignment that God has given us all, it's not about how I feel. It's not about something happened to me and that's why I'm sad and so I will not move on with the assignment. No, the assignment is bigger than my feelings. It's bigger than our emotions. It's bigger than what we're going through. And everything is a test. We keep graduating as you're passing every test. So we can't stop because we're not feeling good, you're not up to it, something happened, blah blah blah. We just must always receive grace for consistency. And I mean, I just thank God for the grace to always show up irrespective of how I feel, irrespective of what's going on with me, right? And all that stuff. Sometimes we're talking about marriage. For example, I don't have any marriage issue. I just finished from amazing arguments, something like that. I'll not say because of that I'll not come. I will still show up, collect myself. I will go and solve our problem later, right? Or maybe something just happened, you're not in the mood, blah blah blah. Like I said, I will do a YouTube video very soon, talk about two very major topics that I know will help people, that will bless lives and all that. But in all these things I've been saying, all I'm trying to say is thank you. Thank you for sticking by me. Thank you for staying with me for 3 years. Thank you for believing in this vision. Thank you for believing in this girl. Thank you for everything that you do. Thank you for following my page. Thank you for engaging. Thank you for celebrating me. Thank you for announcing me. Thank you for talking about me. Thank you for everything and anything. Your seed of love, I genuinely appreciate. Hi, friendly liar. So good to see you. All right, because if I continue to thank, the thank's not going to end. And we have to move, right? Today, we're going to be talking about something very, very important. While I wait for my guest, anyway, we're talking about managing and overcoming the effect of pain and grief. And I know that every one of us, at a particular time or season in our lives, we've gone through pain, grief, and it could have been through maybe the loss of someone. I mean, what I can relate to right now is when I lost my dad some years ago. It was not a lost friend of my husband and I we're talking about that as we're coming, but my mind was thinking of even deeper things than what he was talking about, understand, and relating it to this topic, because it's not like it was not a planned, it's not something that we saw coming. So yes, he was not feeling well, but it looked like it was getting better. There was so much joy and excitement, and we talked about the journey before the death that could have been avoided, things that could have been done, and all that. I'm not going to dwell into all that, but the pain, the grief at that time was a lot. It was a lot. Yes, of the pain of losing a loved one, and that time I was just pregnant because I just got married. I was just like 4 months in marriage, so I had gotten pregnant, and I had not told him about the pregnancy. I was still waiting to, when am I going to announce, because it was maybe a month, I don't know, the pregnancy was very, very young. So when am I going to, share with him? And the next thing, I was so sad. I felt so bad. Hey boy, good to see you. As in, I felt so sad that, my God, he didn't get to, meet his grandson. And I also remembered when I was going to get married, I was like, no, should get somebody that will walk me down the aisle, blah blah blah. I said, nope, even if he's going to be on his wheelchair, he will walk me down the aisle. And I'm grateful to God that I did not. It was from a good place, of course. Hi, Imade, good to see you. It was from a good place. It's not because they just wanted it to look good, so that it's not like we're struggling. I wanted him to hold his crutches and all that. Even with the struggling, whenever we reach the the altar, we'll reach it, right? But we got a wheelchair, and then he walked me down the aisle, and I'm grateful that we did that, because the pain I would have felt from his death would have even been worse, than what I felt at the time. But it's not easy to live with pain, to live with grief. Some people don't ever recover. Some people even die from it. Some people go into depression. A lot of things happen to people when those kind of situations this kind of situation happen in their lives, right? So I know that we all handle it differently. Some people can just, and they're good, right? But there are levels to grief. I always say there are some losses that are deep. There are some losses that you feel the pain, but everybody's able to move on again, and we're fine, right? But today we're going to talk about like deep pain. Our guest is here. Welcome, ma'am. So good to see you. And since she's here, I'm just going to jump right at it. We just say the prayer and then take a profile and we fly. God, we're grateful for another time. Thank you for 3 years of Ife Talks. Thank you for how you've helped this assignment, this journey, this vision. It's been you, God. Take all the glory. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I can never thank you enough, Jesus. Thank you. For the beautiful people that you have surrounded this assignment, we thank you. Thank you for today's session. Thank you because there will be healing. Thank you because people will be encouraged. Thank you because hope will be restored in the hearts of people. Thank you for our guests, because you will speak through her words that would help lives, make you better. Thank you, Lord, because all will go well in Jesus' mighty name. Amen. So while I wait for her to send me an invite, I'm just going to jump straight into her profile, and then we start immediately. So Falakemi Falana is a versatile lawyer, human rights activist, entertainment business educator, executive and podcaster. Over the last 12 years, she has gained experience in various areas of law, with a particular emphasis on entertainment law, human rights law, and family law. She has a boutique legal consulting firm whose clients have included talented executives in music, TV, and film, as well as entrepreneurs and startups. She has consulted widely as an entertainment law expert on various panels on radio, online media, and television. She has also spent the last few years educating entertainers on navigating both the legal and business aspects of entertainment. So, mom, you can send me an invite, because we just jump right at it. The Showbiz Compass podcast on YouTube and Instagram, as well as via training courses and events, right? So what I was saying is that she has also spent the last few years in educating entertainers on navigating both the legal and business aspect of the entertainment industry via her podcast, the Showbiz Compass podcast on YouTube and Instagram, as well as via training courses and events. Falakemi is a survivor of personal tragedy. She lost her husband very unexpectedly back in 2014 while on a family vacation. She struggled with grief as well as depression and anxiety. But with God's help and with the help from the most supportive friends and family, she pulled through. She found light in the tunnel. Later, she became friends with, and married her current husband. She runs Finding Light in the Tunnel, a support group for young widows. Yay! Opa says that she lost her elder sister on Good Friday, April 7th, so I can release this topic. Wow, I'm so sorry about that, Opa. I'm glad that you're here. Welcome, Shay. So good to have you. Join us, and we are going to just go live immediately. I'm just trying to think I have accepted. Awesome. Yay! Hey, good afternoon, ma'am.
Hi.
So
Hi, Ife. How are you?
I'm fine, thank you. So good to have you here. Thank you so much for accepting to be a part of this.
No, no.
Thank you.
No, thank you for having me. Thank you for having me.
Awesome. Say that you are here, and I'm sure that this is going to be a very amazing time. I'm sure that people would get encouragement, they will get hope, there'll be renewal of mind, transformation, healing, through everything we'll be discussing here today. And you look really beautiful. Thank you for
Thank,
coming.
thank you. You look amazing as well.
Thank you. All right, so hi everyone. So we have our guest here, and we're just going to jump right at it. You know how we do it. We already have some questions, but if there's any other question you want to ask as we journey, you can always drop your questions here in the comment section. So for the sake of those who are just joining us, before I start, I know I'll do this again in the middle because I'm not supposed to join as we proceed. So welcome everyone to Effect Talks. This is an online show where we talk about different life issues that affect people in different areas of life. We talk about marriage, we talk about finance, we talk about entrepreneurship, we talk about purpose, we talk about children, addiction. There's nothing we have not discussed, but as long as it would impact lives and help people to make better information, that's what we do here. So today we're discussing managing and overcoming the effects of pain and grief. And we have our guest here with us. She's going to be sharing through her story, a personal story of what she has experienced and how she was able to handle the situation. I'm glad that somebody said that she's able to relate to the topic, that because she has also experienced something like that. So if you have any question for our guest as we proceed, just drop it, right? And I would also be asking our questions. So yes, you can ask your questions. Thank you again for being here, ma'am. Welcome. So I know that I've talked about your profile, but it's always good to hear from the owner of the profile, right? So let's just meet you. Let's just know one or two things about you that's very interesting before we go into the gym of the day.
Well, my name is Falake. Um, I'm I'm a lawyer, but I also wear many hats. I'm an instructor, an intimate business educator. Um, sometimes an activist. Um, but I'm also someone who's very passionate about grief recovery, and I run a support group for young widows, and and at the core of it, I'm your girl next door, really. I can relate. I can relate to a lot of things that a lot of people do, I think, because of all these intersections of my life. So yeah, um, that's the long and short of it.
Thank you so much. It's great to have you here again, once again. So let's jump right into it. So I mean, I think the first or maybe the second question now will be for you to share your story, because that's a good place to start before we start talking about managing and how to overcome. Let's even know what happened. What happened to you that led to grief, that led to pain, right? So let's hear that bit first.
So almost 10 years ago now, I I was on holiday with my then husband, my mom, my
I'm trying,
sister.
I'm not sure. I'm trying to see if I can hear you so well. Like
Hello,
it's not so loud.
can you hear me?
Yep, I can. Better.
Okay. So almost 10 years ago now, 2014. Actually, well, the holiday started end of 2013. So yeah. So we were on holiday with my side of the family. We had spent some time with his side of the family over Christmas. This was supposed to be like going into New Year. So this was like 30th, 31st, sort of like going into the New Year. So we were abroad, we were in Dubai, and we were waiting on my brother and my dad to join us. And we just, had been like just doing activities, shopping, all those kind of things. And one day we had been on the beach, swimming, doing a bunch of stuff, and he said he wasn't feeling very well. So so I said, well, let's, get to the hospital and all that, see the doctor. We did all that. We gave him some medication. He said he was feeling a bit better, so we went back to the hotel, but he wasn't. Um, sleeping well. So in the middle of the night, we went back to the hospital, and they then sort of like admitted him. And he was in hospital for less than 2 days, to be honest. So first night I was there, I didn't leave at all the first night. The second night I wanted to go to the and somewhere like around 2, 3 a.m. I left to go to the hotel room to nap a bit and get a change of clothes. And then I got back. Now, my phone rang, and it was the hospital calling, saying the doctor wanted to have a word with me. And they were, so I got there, and the nurses were like, "You tell her, no, you tell her." And I was like, "What's going on? Can I, like, what is this? Like, can I see the doctor who wanted to see me?" And I saw that there was a little commotion like outside his like room. Someone said it's not too clear.
Okay. It got better when you moved
Can you
forward.
hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. I mean, but guys, please let us know before we go too far, because I can hear her. Just can you all hear? Let's just make sure.
Guys, please comment if you can hear us clearly.
Yes, please let us know, because I can hear now. Just want to be sure that our guests can hear. Please let me know that you can hear us. Anybody? You're too far away from it. Got better when Folake moved closer. It's not loud.
Honestly, my phone is literally like in front of me. Like it's in my mouth.
It's better now. Okay, so let's try again.
Is it better now? Is it better now?
Okay, great. So we can go on.
Okay. Thank you, guys. Can everyone hear? It's breaking in between. That's not me. That's network.
Yeah, it's better now. Okay.
My network is fine.
Your network has to be great.
No, but I can even see you clearly. Like there's no.
So everybody is saying yes, it is yes. So that means we're good. We can go.
Okay. So basically, the commotion outside, his room was, them saying that he had passed away, and it didn't make any sense to me because I'm like, I don't understand. I left somebody here that was talking to me, that was fine, that was gisting with me, that wasn't, like morbidly ill. It wasn't that serious. What happened? Nobody could explain to me what happened. Long and short, he was sleeping and he stopped breathing, but he was not on oxygen, or he was not he need help breathing before he slept. Like, how did we get here? Long story short, I was, just a bit confused. I was like, so you guys are telling me that I came here with a husband and now I don't have one anymore. I considered a lot of things. I considered throwing myself off the balcony there. But then I was like, yes, on vacation, yes. I thought about a lot of things, but then I think as quickly as I thought about all these things, I think I sat on the floor briefly, and then I got up and I was like, no, they don't know what they are saying. There's no way. That is not the God I'm serving that will let this happen. So I just got up and just acted like, this people are saying rubbish. So I went to get my mom. Obviously, telling my mom was probably even harder than me hearing it. But I went to get my mom, and she didn't take it very well. But I sort of had to we had to gather ourselves, and I said, you know what, let's go and pray, because I don't think they know what they're saying. Bear in mind that, just to show you how mad I looked, so they basically said, oh, sorry, this person is gone, and they're like, oh, we have to take him to the morgue. But I tell the morgue attendant that he's going to wake up, so please keep an eye on him. And he probably thought this one is not okay. Um, the police came, asked a bunch of questions, because obviously it didn't make any sense to anybody, right? You know, I answered the questions. They tried to get me to sign a death certificate. I just wouldn't do it because I was like, I don't know whose death certificate that is. It doesn't belong to my husband, so please get away from that. And I just refused to believe it, I think, for the most part. You know, I think I didn't allow myself go into shock because I was like, it's not possible. Like, I'm a child of God. Like, when you grow up, thinking that your relationship with God works a certain way, and you grow up believing that when you pray, you serve God, you work in His house, you're untouchable basically. There's some things that can't happen to you.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's where I was. I was like, no, children of God don't experience this kind of things. Like, what's this? Like, this is not happening. And almost like I said, people who these things happen to are like children of the devil. Because I quickly come to find out that that's not how it works.
Yeah.
But I was still just like, this doesn't make any sense. So I spent the next like days and days and days praying, regardless of the fact that a funeral was being planned. I just refused to believe it. I was like, there's no way. So his body was flown back home, and I had to get on a plane with. So my dad, I called my dad. So of course I had to call his parents and call my parents, and call my dad because my dad was still not there with us, right? And my dad got there as soon as he could, um, and my family spent the next weeks just watching me like a hawk because I wasn't altogether there, obviously. They convinced me to take a shower to eat. I just was like, just praying and playing worship, and just like, I was like, no way, like, and I was like, well, if Lazarus could sort of like get up like nothing happened after 3 days, this is nothing. Like, this is small for God. There's no way. So, of course, days turn to nights and weeks. And obviously, we came back to Nigeria. Unfortunately, he made it to the bloods. That was hell because then my phone just kept ringing non-stop. Because my friends, especially the ones who had seen us like literally days, like there was one of our friends who was with us like the day before.
Wow.
She was beside herself. She couldn't believe it because she happened to be in Dubai and we had met up at the mall and just, so she was just like, there's no way that this must be like some sick person's rumor, like someone sick started a rumor. There's no way. And the more of my friends called me, I mean, my friends, his friends, the more people called me, the more people I had to tell that just pray. He's like, I couldn't bring myself to say it. I was like, no. And I think I still just didn't believe it myself. So I was like, no, like, just pray, Obviously, after a while, I couldn't answer my phone anymore, So my sister and some of my friends were, taking the calls that I felt were important, and my phone would just ring out, and I don't even think I knew where anything was at that point anymore. I mean, even on the day of the funeral, I still believed that he was going to get out.
Right.
I could not believe it. Like, it didn't make any sense to me. And obviously, we had the funeral. Then we had a celebration of life service at my church. And I think after the funeral, I on the funeral day that I realized that, oh wow,
That's
this is
exactly what I was about to ask.
he's
That
not
when did you
standing up.
the truth?
I'll be honest with you, even that day, I think I sort of like I had a slight moment of like panic because we had the funeral and everyone was leaving the graveside, and I was like, hang on, where are we going? It's not like I can come back and do this all over again tomorrow. I don't want to leave. I want to stay here. And then everyone just sort of grabbed me and they start dragging me because I think they think I was about to literally jump into the hole. And I'm like, no, I just want to stay here. Like, can I just stay with him? Like, because I don't understand. But then they said, oh, don't worry, we'll come back. You just need to do a bunch of things. We'll come back here. Of course, we didn't go back.
Right.
They just wanted to convince me to leave it. But it took a really long time for me to believe that he really wasn't coming back.
Wow.
It took a while. Like,
Just a second. So this time when it was like a denial phase for you, were you crying in those periods? Were you hysterical?
you know,
Going through all that?
so I had like so all the time leading up to the funeral, I was like a zombie. Like I was, you know, when you're just like in like power mode. So I didn't start crying until after the funeral.
Wow.
Like I didn't like. I mean, I cried. I cried, definitely cried, but I didn't like properly fall into pieces until after the funeral. So like I didn't believe it for the most part, and I think I just was like, no, he's coming back. This is like, you know. And I think even after the funeral, I was like, oh, please, may they bury Lazarus. That doesn't, like, the miracle is just only going to be more intense. And somewhere in between, you know, coming back home and planning the funeral and having the actual funeral, I've made my dad take me to the funeral home. I went with like my pastor and my siblings, and we went there to pray because I still felt like, you know, when you feel like God is gonna do this crazy miracle, so you don't want it to be because you were not ready, right?
Yeah.
So I'm saying these things now, and I'm laughing at, like, you know, how naive it was of me to think like that. Not because God doesn't need to do miracles, or because God couldn't have done it, but because He didn't need my help to do it.
Yeah.
Like I didn't need to be there when it was going to happen. But I just felt like, you know, I don't want to be caught sleeping, so please let's just go there. Or maybe God is waiting for somebody, just someone's faith, someone to just have faith and believe that He will wake up. So let me go. And also because I didn't really get a proper chance to say goodbye. So like I felt like I hadn't seen him, and I still just didn't believe what everyone was saying. So I was like I really I feel like I need to see this person that you people are telling me. Instead, I don't believe you. Like I think everyone is lying to me.
Wow.
But
wow. Wow, that is so whoosh, that is so in fact, I mean I can understand the because I don't even think anybody would ever accept that kind of news like at a go, and because you were with him just some few hours, you left and came back, and then as in what happened, nothing happened.
And I don't mean to be funny, but most times when people are dead, they just look like they're asleep.
Yeah.
So I still just felt like, oh, he's in this deep sleep. Like nobody knows what they're saying.
Yeah.
Like he's asleep.
Yeah. Wow.
So even seeing him did not make me believe it anymore that he was not coming back.
Awesome. So so how did you, because I know you've said a lot about praying, and I know how when you are trusting God for a miracle, like you need a miracle that will let people know that I serve a living God, and then it doesn't come through. How did it affect you, affect your your mental health, everything about you, and your relationship with God.
And my belief system. I think everything just unravels. You feel like you've been lied to your whole life. So everything just unraveled, like everything. Um, everything, like my sanity unraveled because I was like, no, that I have to be crazy. Like there's no way this is happening. You know, I wasn't sleeping, wasn't eating, I was not bathing, you know. The first few days my sister would sort of like drag me to the bathroom and sort of try and like bathe me, but eventually she had to travel. So um she, there was no one to convince me to shower and comb my hair after a while. Plus after a while everyone sort of like had to sort of go back to normal life. So and this is why I tell people that if you want to do something for somebody that is grieving, when everyone has stopped visiting and when like the funeral is over and people have stopped bringing food, that's when they need you the most. So I can't thank God enough for my friends because they really took turns to like be there for me. And
Like my next question, what was the impact of family and friends in this phase?
yeah, my family and my friends, they really took turns to be there for me. Um, they would take turns to come and check on me, come and take me out, just even if it was just drive down the road to make sure that I wasn't just in the room for weeks on end. They would sit with me, you know, um just talk, you know, and of course with the whole like how did this affect my belief system thing. I gradually got to a point where I was angry at God because, I was like, so, this miracle I think you're going to do, it's not happening, right? You know, so I was angry at God. I couldn't even go to church for a while because church was like a big reminder, of course, of everything that had happened. So I didn't want to be around that. I didn't want I didn't want to be sitting at church and watching his empty seat, and that sort of triggered me all over again. So I stayed away from church for a while. I just I just stayed like indoors for a long time.
Wow.
Like took a while.
When you say a long time,
Like
that's in years, like how long a time?
I'll be honest with you. It was probably close to a year before like I started like trying to like pick up the pieces and like and try to like live a semblance of normalcy. So like took probably close to a year. I would say that first year, some days are better than others, obviously, and sometimes, and I think maybe like months later I started going to church, but some days a message would trigger me and I would just step out. Eventually I started staying at the back of church with the kids and taking turns to change people's babies' diapers just to make sure that I wasn't like thinking about what the pastor was saying too much so that I wouldn't get upset. Um, and I it took a while for God and I to sort of get back to where we were. But I also had to get to know God all over again. I had to realize that some of the things that we're told growing up, how we're told Christianity works, I realized that it's not like that. And, I had to get to know God all over again for myself.
Amazing. Thank you. So, I'm going to go back to what was going on with you in that period in terms of depression, maybe suicidal thoughts. How did that how did that happen? What happened in those times of depression, and how did you even handle that?
So I I got to a point where every day when I woke up, I'm like, God, really? I'm still here? You didn't think to like we had an agreement. I said, just take me peacefully in my sleep. Why am I awake? What's going on right now? Like why? Like what are you keeping me alive for?
Yeah.
Like why am I? You know, and I mean, if maybe I could go through it, if I had what's the word? I don't know if it's, see, people say that, you know, suicide is a very cowardly thing to do,
Mm.
but I completely disagree. I think it takes a lot of courage to end it.
Yeah.
I'm not, I'm not saying this to like encourage, you know, suicide or anything. I think, there'll always be people who I always tell people that every time you can't do it anymore, think about the um the vicious cycle that you are going to start. You know, think about your friends and your family who will never be the same. Um, if you end it, somebody else might never recover from the pain of losing you, from the guilt of feeling like they could have done something, and what if they end it,
Mm.
and that cycle continues.
Mm.
So suicide was very hard. Like it's difficult. I couldn't bring myself to do it. I thought about it. I thought. Um, so then I prayed that God just take me in my sleep, because I was like, at least, I don't have to do it. I don't have to harm myself. But no, I couldn't do it. But it got to a point where I had to accept that I wasn't okay, because I wasn't sleeping, I wasn't eating, I wasn't okay. So I had to accept help. I had to accept psychological, and I know that's something that we frown upon, um, as as Black people, as Africans, as Nigerians, and I think even as Christians sometimes frown upon like psychological help, but you have to you have to accept help when you need it. You absolutely must, because um, sometimes there's no like other immediate way to deal with it, and so like sitting down, admitting you're not okay, talking about it, asking for help, whether it's asking your friends to. I did, and that's what I'm about to talk about. Somebody's asking if I try therapy at this point. So whether it's telling your friends I'm not okay, I need help, I need you guys to call me regularly. I remember doing a post. I was famous for my Facebook posts at this point. I think a lot of people didn't know how to react initially. Um, but I posted. I said, look, I know some of you haven't called me because you don't know what to say to me, but please call me. Like, just call me and just talk to me like you would have before this happened. If you don't know what to say, if you don't want to talk about what has happened, just call me and tell me about the movie you watched or the guy you're dating. Like, let's just like I need to live through you guys, so I need you guys to call me. Like, I'm not going to force you to talk about it. And when you come and visit me, we can watch TV. We don't have to talk about it because I know you don't know what to say, and there's nothing you can probably say that would, you know, change anything or make it better. But knowing that you're here for me is more important than anything. Of course, eventually I had to like see a therapist as well. Um, and just sort of like confront my feelings. Um, I was diagnosed with anxiety and depression, and it was a journey sort of like dealing with that and working through that. But God God surrounded me with the most amazing human beings. I had complete strangers who would see my posts on Facebook and reach out to me and said, "Look, I don't know you, but I saw your post and I just want you to know that I'm here for you." And some of these people are still in my life till date.
Wow, I mean,
Some of them have become literally family to me. But you know, I had to accept help.
you have to accept help. And I like that because I feel like I talk a lot about people, about relationships, and how it's so important that we need people in our lives, not just because we are planning for evil to happen, but if it happens, I mean, one of the strongest forms of healing is the people that will surround us in those seasons of our
Yeah.
lives. Amazing. I'm going to so for the before I talk about how you overcame this phase and the overcome you said you were diagnosed with anxiety and depression. How long did it take for you to overcome anxiety and depression? For you to be cleared?
Um, I'm sorry to disappoint, but I'm still sort of living with the effects. I know it's been almost 10 years, but sometimes you still get triggers. And so obviously it's not as bad as it was before. Like it's not, and this is why I tell people that if you have a mental health emergency, please don't leave it too late, because the more damage is done, the more likely it is to become a lifelong thing.
Mm.
And yes, I'm managing a lot better. But the thing about being depressed or dealing with anxiety for a prolonged time and not sort of seeking help quickly is just like a wound, like having like a cut. If you don't look after it, if you keep it moist, it's not going to heal quickly. And sometimes you can run into something and bump it against
Right.
something and start bleeding all over again. So
Mm.
yeah, I would say that I'm still sort of living with the side effects. So maybe not the actual, raw version of it, but the thing about being depressed and you know having anxiety for so long is you start it starts to sort of it's under the surface, and so you need to sort of like be active. You have to get ahead of it. So you have to actively avoid your triggers. So for example, I know that I'm the sort of person that if I internalize my struggles, I'm more likely to have an episode.
Right.
And also I think there's some parts of life that make it difficult. It's like even without losing a spouse, and this is why I tell people not to minimize their symptoms as well. Like people assume that something really tragic has to happen in your life for you to, have anxiety or depression. But no, just life stresses. So imagine I've gone through this really hard, really difficult thing, and then add stresses of life to it. Even just little things like, where you are in your cycle can, trigger an episode. Or like, you move to another country and or you're going back to school in your 30s, or
Mm.
like um, or you start another relationship. Like there's so many things that can, you know, um, sort of like bubbling under the surface to sort of trigger an episode. So I think knowing yourself, knowing your triggers, and not feeling any shame in, seeking out help, you know, and seeing a therapist doesn't have to mean medication. It doesn't have to mean, it thing. As a matter of fact, I advocate seeing a therapist quickly before it becomes, an illness, because mental illness is a thing, just like physical illness is a thing. If, for example, you have a fever and you quickly nip it in the bud, you take paracetamol, you rest, you eat good food, you look after yourself before it becomes a full-blown, illness. So I think the only thing I wish is that I had sort of like, I wasn't in like auto mode, that I had quickly sought help sooner. And that's why one of the things that I do with my support group is I sort of, because people reach out to me a lot of times and they say, oh, please, my friend lost her husband or this happened. And as soon as I can, I offer them counseling. I offer them, do you want to talk to a therapist? Are you sleeping? Are you eating? Do you have help? Do you have people around you? I wish somebody sort of like maybe dragged me to a therapist office in the first few weeks. I might not have sort of suffered as much as I did, and it might become like a full thing.
So,
But,
how long did it take before you started therapy, and how long did therapy take?
oh, I didn't want to do it for the longest time. First of all, I think it took a while for someone to suggest. I think said to self-pity. No, actually, I think anger is what I was more like. I was angry more. I didn't really feel sorry for myself as such. I think I was angry. I was just so angry. And anger is a very emotion. It can eat you up. So like I remember 6 months after, there was this trip that my mom and my siblings kind of made me take, and we all went to France. And every time I saw people, first of all, most of the trip I stayed indoors. I could not bring myself to go to the beach. And every time I saw couples holding hands, I would be so angry. Like I just like, which was so out of character because I love love and all things love, and I'm always the one telling my friends, "Oh, please, you have to try again. Yeah, you can't give up on, finding happiness." But I was so angry. I didn't want to see like I didn't want anybody rubbing their happiness in my face. As a matter of fact, I used to tell my sister and her then boyfriend, who is now her husband, please don't hold hands around me, please. Like, if you want me to hang out with you guys, please just keep your lovey-dovey stuff to a minimum. I can't watch that. I can't. So yeah, I was angry. I think is what I felt more than self-pity. But to answer you about how long did it take me
Like
to
when you
do
started
therapy,
therapy, and how long?
it was months before I started. Probably probably more than 6 months before I even considered it. Um, what actually made me consider therapy was um, I had I had developed full-blown anxiety. So I would go somewhere and I would feel like the walls were closing in on me, and my chest would be beating so hard, like my heart is about to explode from out of my chest, and I would be unable to breathe, and I would just be dizzy, and I would have to go outside. And that kept happening to me. And then sometimes because like that, my phone would ring and I would have an episode. So I knew that I wasn't okay. So I called my friend who was a doctor and I said, I'm having palpitations, my chest hurts all the time. Like it literally feels, when you hear that, when they say someone like dies of a broken heart, like it's a thing. Like it sounds like an expression, but it's a real thing. Like you start to like have difficulty breathing, and it just shows you how connected your physical and your psychological, like the physical and psychological parts of your body are, and and I think there's something else that people don't talk about enough, is that grief actually makes you ill. Like, so obviously an extreme case is dying of a broken heart, but some of the things that, and if you don't believe me, look it up when we finish this live. Some of the things that a lot of people who have lost somebody very close to them, some of the things they have a lot of them have said they've developed is things like psoriasis. Psoriasis is a skin condition that is like you have very scaly skin. Your skin is really dry, itchy, scaly, and peeling, literally peeling. Some people get it only on their scalp, some people get it on their skin. Some people have said that they developed a tumor like that. And I didn't believe it until I read up on it. And there was definitely a connection between, I was perfectly healthy, I was living my life, then I lost someone, and the grief made me ill. And obviously psychological illness is like the first one that everybody has in common, but some people have physical illness as well. They say they developed some pain in their leg that just doesn't go away, and when they're sad it makes it worse. And I think it makes sense because when you are grieving, your body knows something is wrong, and sometimes your body sort of trying to fight this foreign body. It can attack healthy cells because that sadness and that grief is foreign to your body. It's not supposed to be there. It's not a normal part of your body. So I think in your body trying to sort of fight this grief off and trying to help you recover, it sometimes can attack like perfectly healthy cells. But yeah, I had constant chest pain, I had anxiety, and it was horrible. And yeah, grief manifests for different people in completely different ways. But I had scalp psoriasis. Now, this I didn't have before. I mean, I would have like the occasional bout of dry scalp, but this wasn't dry scalp. This was psoriasis, and I knew because my scalp was dry and bleeding, like 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 full on itchy and bleeding. And this wasn't something that anybody else in my family had. And then I realized that there was a link because up till now, psoriasis flares up when I'm stressed. If I'm physically or mentally stressed, if I'm going through a stressful time in life, my scalp starts getting raw and very itchy. And it's not the kind of itchiness that you're just like hitting your wig. Like you want to claw your head out because it feels like something is crawling on your head. And you can't sleep without taking like an antihistamine. You can't sleep without taking anti-itch medication. That's how bad. Yeah, that's how bad the psoriasis is. Like you are scratching your head like a crazy person. And this, I didn't have this before. I didn't have this before. I didn't even know what it was. Like I had to go look it up. It was one day I was at the salon and my stylist, and this was the lady who had done my hair for years. She was like something like she's like, this isn't dandruff. She's like, this is psoriasis. I know because I've done someone's hair who had it before. Like this isn't like just dandruff. Like you need like special treatment for this. But I mean, over the years, I've talked to a lot of people, like a lot of like young widows, and different people have said, "Oh yeah, this is what I developed after, or this is what started happening to me. This is what I had, or this is what Some people is like back pain, or it's something else. But I looked it up and I saw that like it's a whole thing, and so it took me months before I considered therapy because I think I just initially thought I'll be okay. I thought, oh, I'm going through a rough patch, I'll be okay. And I think also because I didn't have anybody in my life who I knew had seen a therapist. So there was no one that had normalized therapy for me or taking care of my mental health. So I didn't know that it was something I had to like get ahead of. And that's why it's the first conversation that I have, with widows when I counsel them, when I call them and first thing I offer them is counseling. And then I try and assess if this person just needs counseling or they need to see a psychiatrist, like they need to see a doctor who, sees people have psychological trauma. And, for different people, it manifests in different ways. For me, it was inability to sleep, not eating. I lost a ton of weight. I must have gone down like 4 dress sizes. It was ridiculous. Like at a point, I was like a size 10,
Mm.
and like I lost a lot of weight, like inches. Like I needed a new set of clothes. Like I couldn't even wear my clothes,
Wow.
and you know, it was, and tasted food tasted like paper to me. Like food had no taste. Sorry, let me just pause for a second. I just want to shout out Omoyeni. I don't know if she's still here because I just saw that she joined the live. I didn't know Yeni before like I lost my husband. She was one of the people who out of the blue reached out to me on Instagram, I think. And she sent me a cake. So there was a cake I had seen on someone's page, and I said, well, I just sort of said in passing that, oh, I really like this on my birthday. And we weren't even friends. Like, she didn't know me like that.
Mm.
She didn't know me like that. But she sent me a cake. And she was checking on me from time to time. And I just it was the kindness. She's saying better don't cry. I'm really trying to behave myself this whole life and not cry. But like I think what kept me going then was kindness from people who didn't have to be kind to me. They didn't have to be there for me. And I have to say that, you have to find what will, like, you have to find joy in something. I don't know what, but you have to find joy in something. I love you too so very much. You have to find joy in something. And I think one of the other things that helped me, apart from having friends who refused to give up on me, there was one of my friends from A-level school. He would leave his house. He lived very far from my parents' house. Not just far, but the traffic was mental.
Mm.
But he would drive to my house, sit down with me, and like, so I know you don't want to go out. I know you've not gone out in days, but we're going to go and buy pizza. So it didn't make sense for him to drive to my house just to take me to buy pizza because the pizza place was 5 minutes from my own house.
Mm.
He imagine somebody driving like from around Okoba to drive to Ikeja, to drive to GRA in Ikeja, to go down the road. And he'll sit there, and I would not want to take a shower, I would not want to go out. I'll say I don't want to go. He'll say, don't worry, go, I'll wait for you. Go. And even if it will take me 4 hours, my friend will wait.
Amazing.
And by force, I must leave the house.
Yeah.
Wherever, even if we're just driving endlessly in circles, he will share, make sure I saw sunlight and I saw people. And then he will drop me back and say, okay, see you next week. But like my friends sort of like, it was almost like they had a schedule, and obviously different people had like different sort of jobs. Some people would be busy during the week, so they would do the weekend shift. Some people, were maybe in between jobs at that time or doing their own business, so they could come during the week to see me. But I never felt alone. I think the only kind of alone I felt was the loneliness that grief makes you feel, because that pain is personal to you, and nobody can really reach into your chest to see how it feels. But other than that, I never in my life felt like I was alone. And then I had these friends, and God is very, very intentional, and I think this sort of helped my relationship with God, because I felt like, okay, I feel like God let me down. I feel like, how could you let this happen to me? You don't love me. But he reminded me on a daily basis that he still loved me, and he was thinking about me with the people that he sent to me, with the things that there's no way I could have orchestrated. I had two people who are literally like sisters to me now because of how they refused to leave my side. They were both pregnant, They were both pregnant when Jay died, and they both had their babies a month after, 1 week apart.
Wow.
And interestingly, without discussing it, they both named their sons Joshua.
Wow.
Like they didn't, even though we all went to the same church, but they didn't, like, it's not like they planned it. But and you know, they gave me like unfettered access to these boys because they saw how the kids made me feel. They both made me godmother, and they would, you know, come bring the boys over, you know, they would leave them with me. They just, and I think having the boys to look after was the first sort of like reason that I found for like feeling like, okay, maybe I don't have to end it. Like maybe I don't have to keep praying for God to take me in my sleep like boys need.
Yeah.
And there's something about kids and the purity of their love. Like they don't love you because of any special reason, but they, like children just like children just love you, whether you know, even when you tell them off for doing something, they still love you. And so just having them to focus on, you know, having someone outside of myself to focus on, it gave me a sense of purpose, and it helped me. And you know, having my friends, you know, constantly remind me that we know this is hard for you, and we might not know how you feel. You know, my friends, my cousins, you know, they really rallied round, and they were like, look, we know this is hard. We will never ever know how you feel, and some of us are hurting as well. And his friends as well, like some of his friends became my friends. And it was really hard for some of them to, you know, to keep visiting because, you know, it was difficult to, like, you know, see me and not, you know, get triggered or remember, but they sort of put themselves aside and, you know, felt like my needs were important, and they would, you know, come see me, come visit, make sure that I was okay, call me, check in with me, you know, and they were there for different things. You know, some of them I'll call because I didn't initially know what to do with my car, or know what sound meant, or you know, where to fix my car and those kind of things. And I'll call his friends and be like, look, I'm having car trouble, and you know, they'll come. You know, eventually I worked out what meant what, and now people sometimes they laugh when I say, oh no, that's not a good sound. This light means that you need to service your car. But it sort of, it forces you to, you don't know your own strength until you have no other choice but to sort of like, you know, be strong.
Okay, so I have another question, but we can take this one very quickly. How you manage his birthday date or your then wedding anniversary date?
Oh God. So this is what I meant by triggers, and you know, and how grief is like a constant walk, and you think you're okay one day, and then something small happens, and you feel like you take 10 steps back. And that's why I tell the women in my support group, you know, sometimes they call me and they're in tears and they're like, I thought I was doing so much better. Why am I so sad? And I'm like, grief is not a straightforward journey. Like, the fact that you cried today doesn't mean that yesterday was not a good day. It doesn't mean that you're not healing, or that you're not, you know, you're not moving forward. You're doing okay. And there'll be things that'll trigger you. So I try and prepare them for the things that may trigger them. And it's such a lifelong journey. Like Tony hit the nail on the head. Grief is a lifelong journey. Like, you are never going to forget. If anybody tells you, you know that thing people say that time heals all wounds, it's such a load of crap. I'm so sorry to say. Whoever came up with that thing never ever experienced true grief.
Mm.
Look, you would, this is what I say about grief. It's not as much as the time healing it, is that you learn to live with the injury, and you learn to find meaning in life. You learn to cope with the pain. It doesn't mean that some days, maybe, an anniversary will not trigger you, or that one day somebody will not pass by you and smell exactly like the person, or that you will not pass by one shop where you used to buy food. So one of the things I did, I mean, everybody's journey is different, right? One of the things that I couldn't bring myself to do, is that, yeah, Tony says it's a lie. Time allows you to cope. It doesn't heal the wound. It just helps you cope. One of the things I couldn't bring myself to do was go back to the our apartment that we shared. So we lived on the island. My parents lived on the mainland, right? And yeah, one of my people is saying, you don't choose what day to be happy or sad. It just comes, and just remember that the feeling will pass. Like, this is so spot on. Like, it just attacks you out of nowhere. Like, you can be having the best day. Like, you can be like, oh my God, I'm having a great day. I'm happy. I'm in a good mood. You can be hanging out with your friends. You can even be on holiday, be taking amazing pictures. And then just one small second later, you're like, what's happening?
Yeah. Yeah.
And you are just bawling your eyes out. But yeah, I was saying that one of the things I couldn't bring myself to do was go back to our house. Shout out to my siblings and my cousins. They got together, got a moving truck, sort of moved our stuff out because our lease was coming to an end anyway. And God bless our landlord, he was really patient with me as well, because I didn't even know what, like, I was just living day to day. I didn't know what my next week looked like. I didn't know what my future looked like. So I couldn't answer his questions even if he had asked me then. But eventually I was like, please, this man is not the one that gave my husband. Let him use his apartment back. So they moved our stuff out, and it took a while for me to even be able to see those things, because it was too much for me. So no, I never went back to the house. Somebody is asking a very good question. What about work? I'll get to that in a second. I never went back to the flat, and I avoided after phase one, from that second roundabout to the end. I avoided it for years. Because we lived in Aja, and that was like our root home. He worked in Ikoyi. We both worked in Ikoyi, and because this was like, I used to work in at a real estate firm at this point. This was before, like, because I did a few things before I full on, focused on being a lawyer.
Right.
So I was in real estate at that point. So and I think I thought it would be easy for me to um go visit his graveside. So when they asked me to choose what cemetery, I chose the one closest to Aja, Victoria Court Cemetery, because I think I thought I would go there. And I think I thought, I don't know, maybe I wasn't thinking. Probably wasn't thinking. But so just knowing that cemetery is there, where we used to live is there, all the places we used to pass on our way home was there. I avoided that whole place. Imagine avoiding that whole part of Lagos. No matter who it was, not work, not anything could take me there. I'll tell you, no, I'm sorry, I can't see you there. You have to meet me someplace else. And the way that and everybody's method is different. Some people are able to go to the graveside and leave flowers and stuff. But the way that I told myself, and the way I convinced myself to function and to sort of continue life, is that he's not in that cemetery. He's not there. He has traveled. and he's coming back.
Mm.
So going to the cemetery will unravel all that for me. And so I was like, no, I'm not going there. And I think the that I mean that's what I told myself in the immediate time, that he's coming back. He's not really buried there. But then I also came to realize that, look, when we go to a graveside, I think we do it for ourselves. It's not because the person is there, because the person is with God. Like, they're not there anymore. Like, they're with their father. And so I think after I recovered from the, oh, I can't drive past this place, I now thought, what am I going there to do? He's not there. He's in heaven with God. Like, I don't like I don't need to go there to feel like, I want to be close to him. Like, I carry him around like every day. And so, because some people, some people make people feel guilty about not wanting to go to the graveside, and I think
But
that
just what works for you that matters. What will help you in the journey?
just do you and do what would help you. Yeah, somebody's saying that when she lost her brother, she used to be so afraid if anyone tried to make her go to the graveside, because everyone copes differently, and you just have to, like, don't think about anybody else in that time. Think about you and how best you can cope. And that's really that's the best way to do it. And someone asked me about
Yeah,
work.
well,
So so I it took months before I could go back to work. I shut down completely. Um Luckily, um I mean, God really like surrounded me with, like, like, I think I had just quit. I was in between jobs when it happened. I was just about to, start another job. I was in between jobs and I was focusing on my business when it happened. So I was able to just shut down and just be like, okay, I can't do this right now. So it was months, but eventually, one of my
you-
uncles, he had this firm, and he was like, um, we don't have an in-house legal person anyway. Um, you know, it's not for the salary, because it's not like I can afford your salary, but I need you to start having a reason to leave the house. So I, I need you to come in every day, you know, be, be part of, like, our business development and legal. and and so that's how, like, I started getting back into work. It
how
wasn't easy. Some
like
days
months, 1 year, 9
it was more than 6 months, so it was closer to 9 months maybe.
months.
Um, yeah, maybe like somewhere between, like, maybe like somewhere between 6 and 9 months, I think. But and in the beginning, maybe like like I'll go and then I'll have a bad day, or one day I'll leave work. It took a while for me to
And
get back into going to work. Like, I'm now going regularly. But because everyone, I think it was towards the end of the year that I was able to sort of, like, get into it, like, properly. And because he knew what was going on, if I was having a bad day, fine. And, and, I can't thank him enough for doing me that favor, because, and I didn't want to, excuse me. So my parents wanted me to come and work for the family business, but I didn't want that pity. So I avoided that. So in fact, they didn't know where I was working for the longest time. They thought it was a complete stranger. I didn't want to tell them that it was someone that they knew, because then they would accuse me of not coming to work at the family business. And I knew I couldn't do it yet. I couldn't. I didn't want, you know, everyone at the office looking at me with that pity. I didn't want the pity party. I didn't think I could hack working with my mom yet, because I knew that she was still grieving as well. And I was like, you know what, let everybody just stay on their own. So yeah, I worked there for a while, and And on his birthday, they got a cake for me. I thought that was so kind of them.
Wow.
Uh, at my office, we all shared cake, and they made sure that I didn't get sad or cry. We got cake and we sang happy birthday. I thought that was the kindest thing. What?
That was the next year.
Yes, yes, yes. So his first birthday, his first birthday since I've been working there was the next year, and they were so nice to me. Like they really, really, really. I mean, obviously my boss knew because he was like family, but it took a while for everybody in the office to know because I didn't want, and that's why I wanted to go work where nobody knew me. I didn't want the pity. So if I was having a bad day, I'll just say, well, I'm not feeling okay. Nobody has to know that the real reason is I'm crying my eyes out. It's only my boss that knew why I would, had to leave work or whatever. But it was good for me to have a reason to, get dressed, leave the house, to interact with human beings. It gave me a sense of like purpose, and it really helped my recovery.
Okay. Okay, so now I want to ask, right? And this is journey from that to how were you able to open up to love again, to get married again, to leave that and start a new chapter? I think this is where we would even wrap it up because now it's progress. How long did that take first? And then how did that happen? Were you afraid?
I'll be honest with you, left to me. So, as Nigerians, we have this, Africans, I think in general, we have this terrible culture. Actually, no, it's not an African thing. I've seen other people. Sorry, people are saying things that trigger them when they are grieving.
Yeah.
That someone said, stop saying "mas pumo," like don't cry again. Oh, I'm pleased. I beg you in the name of God, if you go and visit somebody, don't say it is well, because it is not well in that moment for them. So don't tell them it is well. Don't tell them, don't say that God understands, or God gives and God takes, or God took him. Just keep quiet. You don't have anything to say. If you cannot say, I'm so sorry, I'm praying for you, I'm here for you, don't talk, just hug them. Those kind of things, they can really like set people off. And I can't leave this place without talking about grief etiquette. I'm trying to do a whole book about grief etiquette. Somebody came to visit. I know they meant well. I know in the depth of their heart they meant well. They came to visit me and my parents, and they said, oh, sorry, this, that. Then they asked me if we had any children, and I said no, we didn't get the chance to have children before he died. Now, bear in mind that I was trying to get pregnant when he died. As a matter of fact, I seriously considered like going to sperm bank for a baby after he had died. So just bear that at the back of your mind. And then somebody shows up at my house and they're like, oh, did you have any kids? And I said no. And they say, oh, thank God. Thank God you didn't have any kids. Really? Thank God we didn't have kids together? Is that something to thank God? Like, I don't understand. How do you think that's okay to say to someone? What if there's nothing in that moment that I wanted more?
And to have kids. I mean, wow.
Because in that moment, I felt like and put yourself in my position, right? So I spent 7 years with this person, 7 years in total, plus courtship and marriage.
Right.
And I have nothing to show for it. No husband, no baby, nothing. It's like those 7 years didn't happen. It's like someone just took an eraser and just wiped the 7 years.
Mm.
Only thing I have are the memories that I have. And then you show up to my house and say, thank God we didn't have kids. So I think that as people, this is something that we really, really need to work on. I know that a lot of people say a lot of things. And I know that for some people it's verbal diarrhea because they are in a situation where they don't know what to say. They feel pressure and so they want to say something. You don't have to say anything. There is in all I've talked to like hundreds, like I've talked to so many people dealing with grief, loss. I've talked to widows, I've talked to all kinds of people, widows, widowers. Nobody ever said, this person came to my house and they didn't say a word. No, no. They prefer you not to say anything if you don't know what to say. Just go there, sit with them, hold their hand, hug them. Nobody will accuse you of not having the right words, because nobody ever has the right words. And it's sad because
Trying to read the comments.
It's sad. It's sad because sometimes it's somebody saying this kind of thing. The people that really should have your back and should be praying for you and should be like, no, I'm sorry. Like the people that should be shielding you from this kind of thing, they're the ones that are saying awful things to you. And they say things like, oh, somebody, by the way, while we are on this subject, someone told me I did not pray hard enough.
Wow.
Yeah. As if anybody wants to lose their husband before their 30th birthday. Please. Like, who wants to go through that? Who wants to lose their husband before their 30th birthday? Who, please? Who? But yeah, somebody said, I do not pray. I didn't pray enough. You know, and I just want to tell you that nobody is untouchable. Oh, yes, to my face. To my face. Someone said to my face. Yes, to my face. And I'm trying to say this without sounding so morbid and harsh, but nobody is untouchable. If pastors can lose their wife, it's not by prayer. It's not a matter of prayer. It's not a matter of prayer. Because trust me, we prayed. Oh, by the way, let me also say that we were both ministers' children.
Wow.
We were both ministers' children, both heavily involved in our church, and he was a minister. So please excuse me.
Wow.
I don't think he gets closer to God than that.
Wow.
So you really have to know that, you know, bad things happen. It's not by Nami give tight pass. So I'm church worker. See, I know that that's the kind of Christianity they raise us on, but that's a load of garbage. Because even the Bible says you would go through trials. It's there in the Bible.
Yeah.
And it just happens. You don't know how many years God has said this person will live for. And God bless you. You are unfortunately the person that married them. And I know that they always talk about how Jabez prayed and God changed his mind. No, that's Hezekiah. No, Jabez is a different story. His name meant sadness, blah blah blah. No, how Hezekiah convinced God to not kill him. See, let me just say what I've learned. If God is going to save someone, I don't think they're going to do it because I don't think God does it because of how much you pray or don't pray. I've come to this point in my relationship with God and I've realized that prayer is for us. It's for ourselves. We do it for our faith. We do it to sort of feel close to God. But God doesn't do the things he does for us because we pray.
Mm.
Otherwise, why is he doing things for people who don't pray, who don't even know he exists?
Yeah.
So the sooner you realize that Christianity and your relationship with God is not a barter system, it's not trade by barter.
It's not trade by barter.
It's not because I'm obeying God, I'm serving him, that's why he's protecting me, that's why he's he's doing those things because he loves you. He will do them regardless. Whether you give tithe or not, whether you give offering or not, whether you will do it anyway. The prayer that you pray, I'm not saying you shouldn't pray. It's important to pray because it helps you strengthen your faith, and it helps you feel close to God. It helps you commune with God, and it also helps you hear God when God is trying to tell you things.
Yeah.
But don't think that that's why God is. He's not a transactional God. Thank you, Tony. It's not. So if God saves somebody from death, it's because that was God's plan anyway. It's because God saving that person is going to maybe make somebody else believe that this God is real. So you cannot batter yourself. You can't batter your way into like God's protection and his forgiveness. Because some people they do something bad and then they think, let them go and give offering in church, give tithes, go and help the sick, the needy. That's not how your relationship with God works. So if God says this person is going to go, they will go, and it will hurt. You'll be sad. You'll fall into pieces. But that same God, because he loves you, he'll help you out of that darkness. But you have to know that it's not because of what someone did or didn't do. And so because of that, we really need to learn to be careful about the kind of things that we say. Some of these people are like in a really dark place, and every day they're like, why am I still here? Grief is really, really painful, and people are suicidal. So it's not for you with your holier than thou Christian attitude to go there and be saying, you did not pray, or
So wrong.
you did not fast.
Yeah.
That's not how it works.
That's so wrong.
Sorry, I just had to do that segue because
that you mentioned that, because I guess a lot of us, because what you said now, even me, I was checking myself, like, it is well, that's like our normal, and it's something that if you hadn't even said it, I would say, well, if I be so, it is well, because a lot of things, it is well and all that. But thank you for sharing that, because I know that a lot of us, including myself, right, we are not, like you said, people don't have any, it's from a good place, right? But it's just that we don't know how to express it in a way that the person who is grieving will not even feel worse than they currently feel, right? So thank you for even sharing that. And I know that everybody is waiting for the juicy part, so we're going to jump on it. But let me just quickly say that, for those who joined in the middle, yes, drink some water, because we've really had a lot of, so you need it, right? I have to say some juice. Okay, so today we're talking about managing and overcoming the effects of pain and grief. And Falake has just shared with us how she lost her husband in 1 year. By the way, this is Effect Talks, right? And this is what we do monthly. We bring in people to come and share with us, on different topics, different aspects that would help people, right? That would transform lives, that would help people make better, more informed decisions, deal with life. We talk about everything and anything: marriage, relationship, money, finance, entrepreneurship, addiction. There's nothing we have not discussed, and we do this every month, bringing in people, right? And this is the session for this month of April. Coincidence that the Effect is 3 years this month, and I'm excited about that, right? So we're discussing grief, and she has shared with us the journey. If you joined in late, she has said so much, how it happened, the struggles she had, the importance of relationships in those kind of periods, the importance of therapy, right, and all that, and how things that we should not say when you visit someone who is going.
I'm so sorry to interrupt. Someone just asked, how about the song "It Is Well With My Soul"? So that song is from Job. That's what Job was saying to console himself
Exactly.
when he was going through the fire.
Exactly.
Jesus did not say that you must go to people's houses to tell them it is well. Okay. I'm not saying that those people will not eventually get to the point where they can say it is well with them eventually, but it's not in your place to force them to feel that in the moment when you go and visit them. That's what I'm saying. Sometimes that's not what they want to hear. Sometimes these people are feeling like, God has abandoned them. So you telling them it is well, you insisting that it is well. I know that as Christians we say it almost in a robotic way, like it is well with you. But when you lose someone, the very last thing that person is feeling is that it is well. And for some people, it's more a trigger than a sentence of comfort. And so just wait till they're at the point where they're okay hearing that. Like not like the week it happens. Don't go to their house like the week it happens and then go there and say it is well. I don't think they're feeling like it is well in that moment.
That time, obviously. All right, so to Juice. Okay, so tell us how, it must be the journey, right? How did you know that you were ready to open up again, to try and get married again?
Well, I wasn't ready.
So how did it happen? How did
so now let me say this. I know that, and I think this is not even only, I think Nigerians in particular, we have this, it can be quite bad with us, but I think I've noticed it's a general thing because, in my journey, I've met a lot of widowed people, like from different countries, from different cultures. And, a big thing a lot of people complain about is number one, people judge them when they try to move forward. Like when they try and start another relationship, people expect them to mourn for a certain number of years. And let me tell you why this is ridiculous. It's ridiculous because to you, you might expect that I need to, wait 10 years or 5 years before I'm able to get married again after losing my spouse. You might think 5 years, somebody else might think 2 years, someone else might think 1 year. So who are you to judge somebody?
Yeah.
And how do we now decide which bar to measure it with?
Yeah.
And grief is such an incredibly lonely journey. Like everyone goes to their own homes to meet their own spouses, and you're there unable to sleep, unable to eat. Like it's really rough. And so to expect someone to continue to live like that, I always say that you are wicked. There's no other word for it. It's wickedness. Like you have to be an evil person to want someone to continue to dwell in that way. And so if you're not wicked, next time you hear somebody is dating or they found someone, be happy for them. Better yet, just mind your business.
Yeah.
But I think in my case, I thought, when you lose someone and you think, wow, this person, like, there's no way I can ever feel like this again. Like, this person was everything. Like, this was such an epic, monumental loss. How am I going to move on from this? And so, even though my pastor, bless his heart, said to me, it's not in my church, he will now not remarry you. I'm going to give you 6 months, and you need to, say after that, you need to start considering moving on.
Wow.
Sure, they want me. I was like, what are you saying? I was like, you joking? I was like, please, I don't want to hear anything for the next 5 years. I don't want to hear anything about dating, about man, about please just everybody just shift. Of course, after about a year, I realized how incredibly lonely I was. And for the first time, I was honest with myself. Tony is laughing. Um, I was like, wow, this is tough. Is this what people go through? Like, oh my God, how am I supposed to do this? I wasn't sleeping well. Like, it was really rough. I was like, okay, I'm not sure how this is going to work. Like, I might need to reevaluate this my 5-year thing. But then I also knew that I didn't want to be dating. I didn't want to meet people. I was not interested because I was still so like pained and still grieving. And I still missed him so much. And I was just like, how's this supposed to work? Like, I can't do this. Like, you know. But then every day the loneliness was eating me up. And I think people don't realize how hard it is having a spouse, having a happy marriage, sharing your life and every little bit of your life with somebody, sharing your bed with somebody, and suddenly finding out that you are all by yourself. It is very, very incredibly difficult. And I think people need to be a bit more graceful and just cut people some slack because it's hard. It's very hard. And, you know, and I mean, it's even harder, like, you know, trying to put yourself out there after going through that, you know. So I think people need to just be a bit more, because I hear a lot of people say, now, wow, did your wife just die 2 years ago? Just leave it. Leave him alone. His wife is dead and gone. The word of God says, till death do us part. The wife is gone. Do you want to die with her? Like, yeah, like people just need to find a way. And I think the mistake people make is they think when you start seeing someone or when you get married again, it means you have forgotten that other person. No, it doesn't work like that. It just does not. That's not how it works. Like, you know, you would spend the rest of your life trying to forget that person. You never forget. But I wasn't even like putting myself out there. I wasn't able to, because I was still just like, how is this supposed to work? And I was incredibly like afraid of putting myself out there. I didn't really trust people. I was just like, I don't know how it's supposed to work. But then God and the amazing way he does his things, this guy joins our church. My pastor had known him from like way back. So he was like, oh, this he was like, oh, I think he had introduced us one Sunday. He was like, oh, this is one of my sons. He's joining our church, but I've known him like, you know, since he was in university. And I actually wouldn't have cared much. The only reason I paid attention was because during service, I noticed that this person was sitting in Jay's old seat, and I was angry. I was like, who is this? Did they not tell him he cannot sit down there? By the way, this is over a year later. But I still expected the seat to be empty. Grief is not very rational. You'll quickly find out. But yeah, I didn't, and I think nobody in church, you know, bless my church. Nobody sat there for that whole year.
Wow.
No, nobody sat there. So so I'm like, who is this one? Who is this one sitting here? Did they not tell him? I matched the pastor after service. So like, sorry, who is this guy? He cannot sit down there. Please tell him.
Oh.
So pastor now said, actually, you should meet him. was like, please excuse me, that's not what I'm saying. I say, why is this sitting down there? So then he was like, oh, hi, these are my sons, just been at church, blah, blah. But I didn't really think anything of it. I just kind of like, my friends are making fun of me in the comments. Yeah, literally, I was like, who's this one? Why are you in my husband's seat? It's funny. God has such a strange sense of humor because who would have thought that, he will end up being my husband? But as time passed, so he knew somebody had died at church, but he didn't know that I was the person's wife. He didn't make the connection initially. So, we became friends because I mean I couldn't avoid him because he was there, right? And it was a small church, so we all knew each other and we were all friendly. So you say hello, how are you doing? We'll talk, and just you have some friends that even when you don't put as much effort in the friendship, they just don't give up on you. He said that even though he hadn't made the connection, that he could tell that I was going through something and he didn't know what, but he felt like he just wanted to be there for me. And we stayed friends, we would talk. And I think the first time I really, really even just let the friendship, because if someone's your friend, you should be able to tell them what's going on with you, right? So one day I was having a really bad day and I had been crying, and usually he'll say, how are you? And I'll just say fine, just for the sake of I'm being not, I didn't want to be rude, but I wasn't really telling him anything. So one day he said, how am I? And I said, no, I'm not okay. And I just sort of like told him, I'm really struggling with this grief. It's hard for me, blah, blah, blah. And he prayed with me, and, and we just talked. And I think that was the first time I really let him in. And, we stayed friends. And I think one of my favorite things was there was no pressure. There was no pressure to, say, oh, I like you. And I think, to be fair on him as well, he really didn't know initially that, he didn't plan to end up with me or anything. Like, he really was just being a good friend. And everything just sort of happened naturally. And as more time passed, as years passed, he just wouldn't give up on me. And then I think I started to realize that I was really fond of him. And so one day I was like, look, what's happening here? Like,
after how many years? This was after how long?
I don't know, because it's I always tell people it's hard to calculate how long, because I'll be honest with you, for the most of the beginning. So this was like I think we didn't even get close until after like 2 years.
Okay.
Was when like we became like proper friends. And even like I would say our relationship probably didn't really start till like the 3rd year, because I'll be honest with you, I was still wearing my ring.
Wow.
Yeah. And I don't advise it. I don't advise it, because any logical person will see you and think this one is not ready. Yeah. So please don't do it. As soon as you can, take it off. You can wear it like as a necklace or something, but take it off as soon as you can. But I can't put a time on it, but I would say like probably like 3 years after was when like we were like properly like in it, because it's hard to like sort of like put the relationship together, because we were friends for like the longest time, and it was just somebody that was just there for me, and we spoke every day, and there was no no trying to like take advantage of me or like touch me inappropriately or any of that. Like, he really eased me into it. So like some people will even argue that the beginning of our relationship was not an actual relationship. That please, you were just friends. You were not even holding hands, please. But like we had to really ease into it, and um,
You said you
and sorry.
you said you asked him what was going on.
Yeah, I was like, okay, so I don't want someone to come and fight me one day. I'm sure there's no girl anywhere. I know you say you're not seeing anybody, you're not dating, but is there anybody that thinks you people are dating, or that thinks like they have a they can claim you? And he was like, no, 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 none of that. And I said, why are you here? Why are you so nice to me? Like, what's going on? And he was like, I'll be honest with you, I I can't really ask you for anything. I don't really like want anything from you. Um, like I can't put like I don't feel like I have a right to put that kind of pressure on you. And I remember that day we had just spent the whole day together just talking, and I remember he gave me this hug before before he left, and that was when I was like, oh wow, some like and what they
The game. Mm.
and that helped change the game because it wasn't so you know how you can hug somebody and be groping them and be like, it wasn't like that. Like it was just the most comforting hug.
Right.
And I was like, oh wow, something's happening here. And I think for the most part I was afraid. I was like, oh God, what is like I can't do this right now. Like what's this? Why do I feel like this about somebody? Like I'm not ready. Like I don't think it's time yet. And I was thinking about the timeline I had given myself. And I was like, no, it's not yet time, it's too soon, But it was God. Because if you left me, I would have just been like, please, it's okay. But after that hug, I think like 2 days after, I was like, okay, we need to talk. What's happening here, please? And he was like, oh, I need to tell you something. And I said, no, it means if I need to tell you something. And and he was like, look, I want to do this for the rest of my life. And I was like, sir, do you know that way we will be three in this relationship? He said, I know. And I'm willing to, give it time. I said, it's because me, I'm a very I like to say things as they are, and I like to be realistic, and I'm like, please, let's talk this thing, let's talk it through. I'm still wearing my ring. You know that I'm not over what happened. You know that I still feel like I'm married to somebody else. That yes, I think you're an amazing person, and I am incredibly fond of you, and I know that you make me feel better, and I want you in my life. But I need you to know what you're getting yourself into.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not I'm not there yet. And he was like, yeah, I know, but it's okay. We'll take it one day at a time. And I'm willing to do the work with you. And I don't know how God did it, but bit by bit, we started doing the work. And I lost my ring. I didn't take it off. I misplaced it and I could not find it. Of course, that was God again, because there was no way I was taking that thing off. So everybody's asking me what did his parents say.
Yeah.
Well, his dad is not in the picture, but his mom, oh bless that woman. Oh God, just thinking about her, I'm getting emotional. She's like one of my favorite people in the entire universe. She's my guy. If she calls now, my husband will start rolling his eyes, because we will talk and talk and talk and talk.
Wow.
They talk as much and as often as we talk.
Wow.
I think it was God because I mean I might should have had her worries. And you know how African parents are, they'll be like, please, oh, what did your first husband do? Before you understand, like before they start thinking that, are you sure you're not like a demon? Are you sure that somebody is not following you know all these kind of things, you know. But she never for a second made me feel funny. The day that I mean, obviously her son would have told her, prepared her mind, whatever.
Yeah.
And the day I met her, she made me sit on her lap.
Wow.
Like I couldn't believe that. Like that was her first reaction to
Wow.
me. Till
Wow.
tomorrow, she calls me baby. She doesn't call me by my name. She calls me. She actually calls me baby. I think it's the cutest thing. But she's so kind and so thoughtful and so like there's no air around her. She doesn't stress me. She doesn't give me any problems. Like she legit is an answered prayer because I'll be honest with you. I told God that please, I don't want any in-law drama. I said, God, please, if you send me a husband, I want an orphan. I actually told God that send me somebody that doesn't have any relative. I don't want because I know how Africans are and how they think and how they be like, please. Oh, and he's never been married before. So like imagine you're married someone that has been married before and their husband died.
Mm.
You know how it is like, are you sure? Please, you know. And even just remove the Africanness from me for a second. You know, you want to ask, is she really over everything that happened?
Yeah, exactly.
Like, she ready? You know, but God sort of, God just made everything work, and you know.
And this is how long have you guys married now?
We've been married 5 years now.
Oh, wow, amazing.
So interestingly, even though my timeline was 5 years, we got married 4 years after. So it was almost like into my timeline. Yeah, it was almost into my timeline. But we got married 4 years. 4 years and a few months after it happened. So going to 5 years is when we got married because we dated for a while because I wanted to be sure that I was ready. Yeah, and you know, I was tell my husband, I always tell people that he asked me like he asked me to marry more than once. I mean, like not plan like a big dramatic proposal, but he always asked me when are we getting married, and I'm like, I need a bit more time. Please give me a little more time. You know, I then I also realized eventually that and God forced me to realize that grief is not something that you recover from in a specific amount of time. Like it's a daily process. Like it is a daily like healing. And so you cannot keep somebody in limbo for years telling them that wait for me, I'm not ready, wait for me, I'm not ready, because you are healing. Of course, after a while, my parents called family meeting and said, you people are getting married, goodbye. Like literally, after my sister got married, my mom and dad called me and they called us and they were like, please, what are you waiting for? And I was like, oh, you know, I need time, I want to gather more money, you know. And they were like, you are getting married next month. And I was like, okay, pump the brakes. You guys should just like, yeah, this was I think like December, and they wanted us to get married like in January. I was like, chill out, let's do March, like relax. So yeah, so if it wasn't for my parents' ultimatum, I think maybe I would have added like 1 more year to like the wait time. But yeah, but God just sort of took care of everything, and you know, he's the most amazing human being, like such a great guy.
Wow, God is so good. So I'm excited about this end because God is just very, I mean, there's no way that he won't have compensated you with his best, his son for you. There's no way. So now that you're we have to even wrap this up. My God, this session has been amazing. Like, gosh. But I just want to ask finally, maybe I should make it to one question. Now that you're married, I mean, you've been with someone for 5 years, how do you feel now? Where are you now, right, in the whole process of this grief that I'll be discussing? Where are you now in that journey? How do you feel? What's going on in your inside? And if you're going to say something to anyone who has gone through or is currently going through grief, what would you say? So it's a two-in-one question. So let's start with the first one.
So sorry, I'm just laughing at all these people asking me when they are coming for 50th party, blah blah blah. You guys should follow me. All the gist is there, and if there's any part you feel like I didn't expatiate on enough, everything is on my page. Also, all of you that you like when I post, these people, they don't engage my post though. It's only when I post my husband that you now be seeing their comments, be seeing their, they don't send me. That's who they're always looking for on my page. So if you are part of them, shall follow me. All the gist you are asking here, I cannot answer everything on this live. All the gist you are asking is on my page. But to answer you, where am I? I'm in a much better place. Um, um, happy. You know, a relationship with God is also like much like it's in a much better place, in a different place. Like I had to learn God and know Him all over again, and so like yeah, so but I'm happy. Obviously, like I said, healing from grief is like an ongoing thing, but I don't cry anymore. I don't get upset when I don't get upset when I think about when I think about the person I lost anymore. I'm just thankful for the life that he lived, and I know that he's with God because he loved God and served God 100%. And the anniversaries used to trigger me before, like his birthday, I would get upset, or like the anniversary of his death, I would get upset. But I can honestly say that I don't cry anymore. If for anything, like sometimes I reflect on like my journey, but I'm mostly thankful. But I'll be honest with you that you never forget the person. So sometimes you remember them, and is a I think is another is a, I think because so people don't talk about this enough, but marrying somebody who has lost his spouse, it's not like marrying just anybody. Like it's not easy. And yeah, there's some things that they will want to do or talk about that you need to be okay with or be able to at least, stomach it.
Yeah.
And what you need to remember is that you it doesn't like nothing they do or say means that they don't love you or they're not focused on you or that they're not happy to be with you. Whatever they do is just them, honoring the memory of the person that. So think of it as, losing a friend and, honoring the person's memory rather than this person who is competing with you for, your wife or your husband or whatever in that case. But I'm happy. I'm in a good place. And, even when I remember stuff, and I know people think that, oh, once you remarry, you are cured, you are healed. It's not like that. But I'm in a much better place. Even when I get days where, because the devil has this thing where he tries to remind you of like, your grief or your pain or whatever. And sometimes, things will happen that will remind you, like you go somewhere or you see people or you see, sometimes you see the people that maybe like you got married on the same day or or people you used to hang out, we all used to hang out together. You see them and you see where they are, all the things they've done, and sometimes you wonder what could have been. But no, I'm not in that deep pain that I was in before. And something I would say though is you know I know that grief is hard, and I know when you lose someone, you want to honor the person's memory and stuff, but you also have to like be conscious of the person that you're with now,
Yeah.
and try not to like, rub stuff in their face, and just try to be you know as conscious of them as possible in the stuff that you do. Yeah.
I was going to ask that too. That how do you manage that? Because I mean, it's like you said, it's good to honor, and I know you do that. So, managing is it you talking, reassuring? Is that your way of managing that
Yeah,
part?
we talk about it. We talk about it. I mean, and I think that's why I encourage people to sort of develop a friendship as well, because we were friends first, so we used to talk about these things. So we talk about our feelings, and if he feels like there's something I'm doing that is making him feel a type of way, and he's not sure what it means or why I'm doing it, and sometimes he asks me, "Oh, do you want to do this? What do you want? Like, or why are you doing this?" So yeah, just be open to discussing it, be open to talking about it, and keep an open mind. You know.
Wow, amazing! My God, this has been a very interesting session. I'm like,
I know.
talker, but today I'm just absorbing, listening, and just enjoying the flow of the session. I'm
You
so
know, these people saying part two. Please don't mind them. Some people say part two. Yeah, please.
I mean,
They like this
people
too much.
like this, and that end was such a very beautiful end, and I totally loved it, and that's why I saved that question for the last, because that's it. That's the encouragement part, because most times people are not sure how to move on. People are afraid to move on. Sometimes it's based on what people are going to say, stigmatization, and the feelings of people. So it's a lot of things, and I know you touched on all that stuff when you were addressing your own, the question. So I'm glad, and in fact, much more than I could have asked, right? You gave us, like, you went so deep. It was so good, and I know that for anybody who is experiencing, has experienced this sort of thing. I mean, this doesn't mean that the grief goes, like you have said, or you've shared.
Yeah, the grief doesn't disappear, but you learn to live with it. And please, I just want to say this. If you've lost your spouse, you have a right to be happy again. I used to believe that everybody has one true love in their lifetime, and I used to believe that I've had my own true love, and that's it. Like, that's it, and I'll just be sad and moping around. In fact, I used to think, okay, I'm too lonely, I can't stay alone. Let me just find somebody that I don't hate, that I can, manage to live with this person, and just have a semblance of like happiness. But I'm so like there, and it's not true. That one true love thing is not true, because I mean, surely I'm not the only person in this whole world that has managed to find real love again. And it's not the kind of love you have to pretend that you're happy in. Like, it's real, genuine. Like, I'm so happy, and and I had to make a conscious decision. And yes, Tony says love is a choice. He's right. Like, I had to tell myself that you deserve to be happy again, and I had to let myself go, because I remember, when we were still sort of like seeing each other, and I kept it a secret for the longest time. People that follow me know this. I kept it a secret for such a long time, because I didn't want anybody to judge me, convince me, or just I didn't want the noise. I
Yeah.
kept so I kept it on a very need to know basis. Like, I didn't tell people that I had. As a matter of fact, by the time I told everybody on the internet that I met someone. We were already married. We had already been married for probably over 2 years at that point when I told people. Probably like 3 years we had been married for already before I told people. Before I came to the internet and said, okay, guys, I met someone. Because I wanted to give the relationship a real chance. And I knew that some people will have all kinds of opinions. And I didn't want to. How did I manage that in church? I had to change churches because another thing was people in church were still like calling me, they're still calling me Mrs. M. People were still calling me Mrs. Majapujumi, and I needed to get away from that. I felt like I had to give us a proper chance and just sort of shed that identity. And another reason that I kept my maiden name, I reverted to my maiden name. I actually had a compound name, but I reverted to my maiden name because I didn't want to have to explain myself to anybody. So if I have my maiden name, I don't know if I changed it, you don't know anything. So I just didn't want that pressure. I didn't want anyone, because I think people have opinions. People will say, oh, this is who I think you should be with, or oh no, I don't think this is gonna work. I didn't want to deal with all that. So only very close inner circle people knew, and obviously my parents, my family, some friends knew, but I kept it like on a need to know basis. But please, you have a right to be happy again, and don't believe that you can't find love again, and don't expect it to look the way that don't expect it to be exactly the way you found love the first time. Like, keep an open mind and just let yourself go. Because I remember, in the beginning when we started seeing each other, we would go out, spend time together, and it wasn't anything other than maybe like see a movie and just sit down and talk. And we couldn't even go to a lot of places because I was afraid of people seeing us. So it was very coded. But I'll go back home and I'll be so happy, but I'll be so afraid to let myself go. And I'll be like, oh God, I'm afraid. Should I be this happy? Isn't it too soon? But I had to tell myself that you have a right to be happy. You deserve to be happy. And I also had to convince myself that letting myself be happy didn't mean that I was, because some people come with different things. They'll say you're dishonoring your late spouse's memory. Like, people say a lot of things to you. And you have to know that what God asks for is till death do you part. Once that person is gone, they're gone. And that person that is gone, they want you to be happy. They want you to find joy. And so they're looking at you and hoping that you will choose happiness. That person they are God already. They're not coming back. So that person is looking at you and they want you to be happy. They're rooting for you. They're rooting for you and your new person. And so please, I encourage you, let yourself go. If you need to keep it quiet, just trust a few friends, trust a few friends, your family, your pastor. Also make sure that you're not doing it alone, and that it's not your grief that is forcing you into the hands of somebody, because it's very easy to let that happen. So don't keep it a secret from the whole world. Make sure that you have some trusted people that you respect, that you trust, and you trust their opinion, and tell your pastor as well. Just make sure that, of course, pray about it. Make sure that this is the person that God is really leading you to. And I'm rooting for you guys, and feel free to DM me as well if you are keeping a secret about dating somebody.
Right. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I know that you have something for Mr. is a ministry now, a group, something for young.
Yes.
support group for young widows. So if people are interested in that, they can just send you a DM and reach out to you on how to join and all that, right?
So yeah. So you can DM me. We have a support group. It's called Finding Light in the Tunnel, and we're on Instagram, but we're also let me just drop that. But more importantly, we're on WhatsApp because I know sometimes is in the middle of the night and someone just needs somebody to talk to. They need they just need to hear somebody on the other end. So we're on WhatsApp and we encourage each other on WhatsApp. We try and have meetups as well. We have try and have meetings and just sort of try and encourage each other because grief can be such a lonely journey and it can be really difficult to do alone. So you know, having people who know how it feels and who maybe are like, at a different part of their journey, you know, and I tried to like I struggled when I was keeping being married a secret because I knew that God wanted me to show people that you can come out of this and come out on the other side. But I also just I was enjoying my privacy and just not having to explain myself to anybody and not having anybody like judge me or like put my relationship under a microscope. But in the end, I realized that God wanted me to be a source of like encouragement for people who are going through what I have gone through.
Wow. Whoosh! This is the longest session ever. Like, I think this is a very good way to celebrate 3 years of Effect Talks. This is a very good way to celebrate. Thank you so much for celebrating our birthday with us. Thank you for being on this live. Thank you for sharing from your heart. Thank you for being a blessing. And like I said, when I said this, said the life that there will be healing, there will be renewal of mind, there will be transformation, and I know that has happened. Even anybody not experiencing grief has experienced something that you have said today, and we have connected with you. We have learned, we have grown, we have been transformed with your words, and I just want to really say thank you for being here. Thank you for agreeing to be here for like 2 hours, or if not so more.
It's not
Everyone who patiently waited for these 2 hours. You guys like gist, but thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you. God bless you, and I pray that God will keep preserving your home, your marriage, your vision, your assignment, and all that concerns you in the name of Jesus. And you are covered by the blood of Jesus. Thank you so much for your time.
Yeah. Before I go, if you know anyone who is like struggling with like grief, especially people who have like lost spouses, yeah, you can you can reach out on their behalf or have them reach out to me. But it's because it's a difficult thing to go through alone without support. So please feel free to DM me as well, please.
Thank
And
you.
even if you didn't lose a spouse, if you just want a listening ear, just someone who who understands how it feels like to be down sometimes, you can shoot me a DM. And if you need referrals for like a therapist or anything, please let me know.
Okay. Thank you. Awesome. Your friend. Thank you so much. I'll just allow you go now so I don't keep you any further. God bless you. Thank you so much. And thank you to everyone who is here, who joined halfway from the beginning, the end. Thank you. This is Effect Talks. And what we do here every month is to bring people that we would engage, that will share on different life scenarios, different life issues. We talk about everything as long as to impact humans, as long as to bless lives, as long as to help you to make better informed decisions and transform your life in general. That's what we do here. So we talk about, there's nothing that we talk about money, we talk about career, entrepreneurship, business, marriage, relationship, children, fertility issues. Like there's nothing we don't discuss here as long as you have an impact in your life. And we do this every month, right? We invite people from different walks of life to come and converse with us on different topics, right? So it's a monthly thing, it's a monthly journey. And this month we are three, and I'm excited about that, right? And I'm grateful to God for how far He has helped us. So if you're not following,
Congrats on 3 years. It's not easy to keep doing
thank you
this.
so much. Thank you. Thank you.
Congrats. Well done. Keep up the good work. You're touching lives for sure.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you, ma'am. So, if you're not following Ife Talks, this is the right time to click the follow button. You should be following Ife Talks because by God's grace, we'll be here again next month with another very interesting topic. Another very, as a matter of fact, I think too, we'll have two guests to be some sort of amazing stuff. First time ever, right? But it will be a really good time next month. So please follow Ife Talks. Please like, please share. And this particular session, if you know there's someone who needs to listen to it, you can send them the link. I would definitely save this video on my page. It will also be on YouTube. Okay, so just follow, enjoy everything we do on the page, right? And apart from this, I also host compare events. So you need a host for your next event. Just holler at me, send me a DM. I got you, right? So thank you, everyone. Thank you so much, ma'am, for being a part of this. I need to release you now so that you can go. Thank you. I will send you a DM shortly. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, thank you, thank you for your time. God bless you all. Thank you.
Thank you,
Don't forget
guys.
to click follow. You should follow her. So I hope you're following her because you need, and I know some people have already followed you anyway. Because
Yes, I saw some people have already followed me. Yes.
so you need to follow her. You need to be a part of what she's doing and get more encouragement and hope for that. And then, of course, please follow Ife Talks. You need to follow the page and enjoy everything that we'll be sharing. Till we see you again next month. Bye, everyone. See you next month. Bye.
Bye.
See you next. Don't forget to follow and share this live with someone that will need it. All right. Bye, guys.